Thank God.
Oh, how lovely. All right. Okay, so welcome to the focus group of, so let's say our names. Nicole?
Oh, hi, I'm Nicole Waltman.
I'm Sheridan.
I'm Chandler White.
I'm Braucher.
Yeah, and this is our focus group for our mass media research class. Now, what this class focuses on is basically just how we can get a gauge for people's opinions on things, their perceptions, take things around, make people look at them different, and see what kind of responses there are. So today, it's pretty simple. We're just going to be showing you some videos of news anchors and meteorologists on broadcast news, and then we'll be asking a few discussion questions about it. So a pretty simple thing. We can go ahead and start with the first one.
Well, they can introduce themselves too.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, let's start over here. Introduce yourself and also say what grade and major you are.
I'm Tyler Wade. I'm a senior business administration major.
I'm Isaac, senior business administration major.
I'm Delaney. I'm a junior biochemistry major.
I'm Kyle, senior exercise science major.
I'm Annika, senior BFA acting major.
I'm Lindsay, senior BFA acting major.
I'm Elena. I'm a senior musical theater and advertising major.
I'm John, and I'm a junior religion major.
I'm Sydney, and I'm a junior double math and secondary education major.
I'm Madison, and I'm a sophomore religion major.
Okay, now that we are all acquainted, let's go ahead and show the first video. Am I in the way of anybody? Okay, my hair's pretty tall, so
with your updated first alert video forecast. If you're coming to get your forecast for the weekend, I have good news, I have bad news. What do you want first? So let's just go in order here. Rain chances tonight, they're there, but they're low, okay? So don't be surprised if you see a little rain. Here's the good news. We're going to salvage Saturday because it's going to be dry with some sunshine. Looking good, and then, oh no, here's more bad news. It's a bad news sandwich. Sunday, snow, okay? We'll talk all about that. Here's predictor, 10 o'clock tonight. Hit and miss, isolated showers, some drizzle. We're going to see thunderstorms. They're going to be in northeastern Oklahoma. Waking up Saturday morning, it's overcast. There might be a lingering drizzle. Watch predictor. This is a thing of beauty. Clouds clear out. We'll see a little bit of sunshine. And then the clouds come racing back in Saturday night, and we're going to wake up to snow Sunday morning. It'll snow most of Sunday northwestern Oklahoma. So there's 2 rounds of snow. Number 1, northwestern Oklahoma on Sunday. By 7 p.m., OKC traces snow. Northwestern Oklahoma, that's the 1-inch line. That's the 3-inch line. That's the 5-inch line. Panhandle gets pummeled with snow. Round number 2 comes in on Monday across southern Oklahoma. Trace in white, 1 inch in light blue, over 2 inches in dark blue. So it's a 1-2 punch. Okay? Sunday, Monday. Get out and enjoy Saturday. 52 is the high, some sun, a little bit breezy. There's that 40% chance of snow on Sunday. High of 33. You're going to be inside watching the Oscars on KOCO 5 News. Monday, there's that second round of snow, 40% chance. High of 30. It's going to be blustery out. Monday, getting cold. Tuesday, Wednesday, though, some sun, warmer in the 40s. Enjoy it. It's going to feel muggy after what's coming in by the end of next week. More cold air, more snow chances there. Look at that. Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Multiple waves of snow. Not locked on a one big storm system yet, but many chances for snow. Highs lower to mid-30s. If we can get through that, hopefully we'll see some warmer weather to kick off the beginning of March. And you're up to date with the latest First Alert forecast.
Okay. So, as the first question, what did you generally feel about what this reporter was saying?
Like specifically about the weather?
Just your general impression of what it was that he was reporting to you.
Okay.
He was like a dad who's trying to be funny, but really isn't. And doesn't get his point across trying to do so.
Yeah, for certain. Yeah, he definitely struck me as an Oklahoman, whatever the same thing. It's a new sunshine line.
I feel like he was very personable, but his use of, he was using such layman's terms that it made him seem uncredible, because he said it's going to be dry and then didn't really talk much about it and said it's going to be wet and I can do that. So that's, but maybe people like him, I don't know.
That's fair. What makes you think that maybe people, quote unquote, maybe people like him?
Because he's personable and he makes jokes and he seems like a genuinely happy guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I imagine when it comes to broadcast, there's a balance to be found there between being expertise and actually being an everyman. Okay.
He seemed a little bit nervous. Like there were a couple times where he took like a longer pause than you would expect. Like maybe he hasn't done it too much. I don't know. I liked him. I like that goofy kind of really tacky sense of humor. I also don't get out much, so take that into account.
Don't see the weather often.
Sounds like he's kind of a rookie.
A rookie, okay, what makes you say that?
It just was very non-specific, and it kind of seemed like it constant. It seemed like he hasn't done it before, but
yeah, I think that's fair to say. And when he did actually have actual terminology, it was like both of you said, kind of goofy and not very professional, such as the quote, "panhandle's going to get hammered." Now on my list.
Kind of reminded me of when you're writing an essay and you have a word count. And
Yeah.
you just the word count, so you just say stuff that really doesn't make sense, and you don't really understand what you're writing about that well, but you want to get that word count. I kind of got that impression when watching that video.
I agree.
Yeah. And it's almost unprofessional in a way.
Yeah.
I'm an English major, okay. Overall, sorry, what did
I was just gonna say his like composure and how nervous he seemed made me feel uncomfortable watching it. So
almost like you were as uncomfortable as he was.
yeah.
The snow is coming. The snow is coming.
Okay. Overall, he as a weatherman, how much do you think you would be able to trust him?
not much. He's a weatherman in Oklahoma, so
Yeah, I trust so well.
Okay. How would you describe the mood of the broadcast, like him mixed with what was being said, the overall experience, not just specific to him?
Bad things are coming. Bad things will always be here. It's a bad sandwich. That's he made it just sound like weather is a terrible thing. Just go out Saturday and never leave your home again.
Okay.
Yeah, I think he was trying to lighten the mood a bit too much. Like, I like a joke here and there, but like I learned nothing. And the specifics he pointed out was the lines between like 1 inch and 5 inches. Like, we can read that from the graph. Like, I don't need to like know exactly where the lines are. I think like the specifics he pointed out were completely wrong and like not relevant at all. So I don't know. I thought the mood of it was more of a joke. I thought I was watching a show and not like a weather broadcast.
Like an SNL sketch or something.
Yeah, like a sketch, yeah.
Also, I feel like he was trying to make a little bit of snow sound really bad. Like a 1/2 inch of snow is not, I don't know, maybe because I'm from Northern Virginia and I'm used to getting a lot of snow, but it's, of course you're from Colorado, you're laughing too. So like an inch is not a whole lot, but it was like, it's awful and it's a bad sandwich of weather. I don't know.
Yeah, that makes sense. So what did you guys think, this is the next question, were the strongest visual elements of what you saw?
I liked when it had, I've always liked when I'm watching, like, I don't watch other things, I don't know what I'm talking about, but whenever I see, like, the pictures with the clear, like, colors, I feel like it's a lot easier to tell what I'm looking at and what exactly is supposed to happen with the little chart on the side, you know?
Mm-hmm.
That was the strongest when you saw Oklahoma, and then you had the little colors.
Okay. Yeah, any other visual elements that I guess stuck out to you?
The infographic about the clouds moving in, you can see it, and that is just helpful information so you can visualize what's happening.
Okay. Overall, that's the next question. What do you think were the strongest auditory elements that were involved here? Whether it's, how do you do with him or what's being said around him?
bad sandwich.
What did that stick out to you?
It just really told me that the weather was going to be bad.
Fair enough. Okay. We can go ahead and move on then to the next video. basically watch it with the same lens and see what is had.
It's Wednesday, we'll be dealing with heavy. I'm KOCO meteorologist Shelby Hayes. On this Wednesday, we'll be dealing with heavy rain and the potential for flash flooding as we go throughout the morning commute. Here's a look at predictor at 7 a.m. You see the heavy rain here across central and northwestern Oklahoma. A ton of lightning with these storms this morning. The potential for some strong winds to 60 to 70 miles per hour. But overall, what will impact the most people is the flooding. We'll continue to see the rain as we go into the 9 a.m. hour here across central Oklahoma, and then getting some of that rain down into southern Oklahoma as well. It's not until we're close to lunchtime that we see all of this rain moving out. Even by 11 a.m., still seeing some moderate rain here in central Oklahoma and some heavier rain down across the south. As we go into 1 o'clock, we'll see those skies clearing, at least of the rain. We'll still have clouds around. And then overnight tonight and into Thursday morning, we'll have the chance for more rain moving in. That should set up a little farther to the south, but still a 60% chance of rain for Oklahoma City. Highs over the next several days will be in the 80s. Now you're up to date on the latest First Alert forecast.
Okay, so same thing around. What did you feel about what was being reported to you?
She was much more succinct, which I really appreciated. I felt like the way she reported it followed the thought pattern that I would have, and it wasn't like she was trying to fulfill a word count. She just said what she needed to say. I felt like she was very professional about it, and I was able to focus on the details of what she was reporting rather than what crazy thing is she going to say next.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah, it definitely seemed shorter and just more concise than the previous video.
Do you think that would that further incline either of you, further incline you to trust her as someone in her field?
Yeah, I mean, it seemed like less fluff, kind of, so yeah, I would definitely.
What do you think?
I think had the roles been reversed and she had a lot more fluff in hers, that would have been negatively viewed.
What makes you say that?
Because of, you know, sexism and how we view genders and the standards that they have to live by. I think sometimes women have to work harder when it comes to especially the broadcast profession. So had she added a bunch of fluff, we would have considered her uncredible and perhaps a little ditzy.
Interesting. Does anybody else feel that way or have that?
I agree with her. I didn't think about it until you said it, but no, like as soon as you brought it up, I was like, yeah, that's a really, really good point. Unfortunately, wish it wasn't that way, but yeah. I think it also helped with her that she was saying percentages and stuff as she was like going throughout it. It wasn't just I guess the fluff of the other guy, and he didn't really use any like specific numbers or anything, and she had the specific percentages of like the rain plus the exact time that everything was going to be happening instead of just like an overall like goofy feel to it.
Okay.
It seemed like they knew this was going to be like, since the weather was going to be a little more serious, we're dealing with a little more than a half-inch of snow here. They kind of like brought the big guns out. Like she knew what she was doing. She was a lot more composed than that first guy. And like everyone else has been saying, she got the information across really well, which is important for like one of those big storm sort of situations.
I'm also just wondering though, because like I know sometimes, and this might just be like me, but like sometimes the morning news seems like more like concise and to the point, and then like the evening news is like more family oriented. And like she said like your morning travels, so I was assuming like she was like the morning person. I don't know, but that's just kind of what I like from both of them have gathered, that like maybe he is more like the family oriented, like everyone's around the TV at night or whatever kind of guy. So I don't know, that's just kind of how I felt about like both of them.
Okay, if that is the case, which it very well may be, why do you think that would be, that they decided to make that decision with that distinction?
I mean, I don't know. I just think, like, just growing up, like, I remember, like, watching, like, the news with my family, like, in the morning and at night, and, like, the morning, like the music after the one that we just watched, like it's like, I don't know, I feel like morning is just like more concise and like it's, okay, like here's your information, like go to work, get your day done, and then like the evening news is like, okay, like you completed your day, like here's what's going on, like here's this cute puppy shelter, or like whatever. So I don't know, that's just how I felt about like news in general. Like, I don't know, it might not even be that way, it's just kind of how I felt like it was.
Yeah, that makes sense. Does anybody else have a similar feeling? Makes sense.
I mean, going off of that and like combining the whole like gender roles, it would make sense for her to be in the morning. If she's concise and I got double the information in half the time, compared to somebody who needs to like be more entertaining for families, it makes sense to have a man making jokes. It kind of makes more sense to people, unfortunately.
If the roles were reversed, like we were saying earlier, and like Lena said, you know, she might be perceived as a bit ditzier, a bit less trustworthy, even more so to a degree than he was. Do you think that if he had an approach similar to what she had taken here, what do you think the perceptions of him would be like? Would he be perceived in the same kind of professionalism as she was here, or what might be different?
I would think he wasn't as nervous and also just smarter in general. And I feel like I could trust what he said, but I'm not 100% sure I can trust what she says because it's weather. But from what she said, I was just like, oh, okay, that's how the day's gonna look. With him, I was like, I might get 5 inches of snow. I have no idea. So.
If you were to choose between having her succinct approach and also his adopting the same succinct approach, which do you think would be more ideal?
Depends. Like, do I want to have fun watching the weather, or do I want to actually learn what the weather's going to be?
Well, I mean, like if he had adopted the same approach as her, if they were both kind of
I gotcha.
Straight style.
I don't know if there'd be a preference then.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
they're
they're doing the
both
same level work.
Okay.
That wouldn't really matter.
Okay. So what do you think were the strongest visual elements of this one? In all regards, covering both her and the broadcast.
I'm gonna be honest, I was like very distracted because I felt like she was like coming at me.
Yeah,
and I like could
she
not
did
see
not
what was
say her
behind her.
spot.
And it was kind of like her body language was like, I don't want to say scaring me because like I wasn't scared, but like if I was in the room, I would be like, okay,
Yeah.
like, so I think that the visual elements behind her would have been like better had she like stayed further back or toward like to the side, but she was like covering like half of the screen until she like stepped out.
I'm not sure how close the green screen was. Like she might have been up against it and it was just the news
Yeah.
channel's fault. But it seemed
Yeah.
like she was just like,
Yeah, I felt like she just kept coming closer, and then she would take a step back, and then like she would move forward again. So I don't know. It was kind of distracting.
Okay.
That's kind of like the same. Like as soon as it went to her, like she was straight on, like in the front, and then like I was like waiting to see the rest of the forecast. And she was, like, she was blocking it, so I couldn't really see the rest of it.
And they did a bad job setting up her mark. For that. I feel like a lot of that was the camera angle, and they probably stuck her in a tiny closet with a green screen and was like, do your bit. But
Okay. And then auditory elements? The strongest auditory elements.
So I thought kind of her tone was like how she said with her being really close. Her tone was kind of aggressive, and it didn't scare me, but just in general, her tone was kind of like like she was just kind of in your face about it. So.
Okay. Was there any particular moment that, I guess, that gave you that idea?
I mean, kind of just from the get-go, I was like, okay.
Okay, so just the overall.
Yeah.
Okay.
When she was talking about the concerns of the flooding, her tone was kind of like more serious, but I felt like it was appropriate for the situation.
Right.
It was a lot of information spoken within like 1 minute or however long it was, and I think it served a good purpose in that. But if it was any longer, I think it might have been like, simulation overload, too much information at too little time. But I think for the purpose and for what we saw, it was really good.
Okay. Okay, that makes sense. Something that I am sort of hearing is that there's a relation between what is being reported and how the person reports it. So if the man was reporting less serious weather and she was reporting more serious things like flooding and things like that, do we think that difference of method, is that appropriate, or is it still, like, are they doing their job equally, or is there still an inefficiency somewhere in there?
I think it's hard because, like she said, I'm from Colorado, so him reporting that snow, I was like, yeah, be silly about it because there's half an inch, whatever. But then you have like someone who's not used to the snow saying, I'm getting 1 inch, and he's, you know, joking about it kind of, except he thinks that it's serious. That was the weird part. He thought it was serious, but no one else thought he was serious about it. So it's just having someone treat something that you might be scared of as a joke. You never know who might take something like that, like, really seriously.
Okay. Did anybody have that kind of experience? Like, feel like maybe this is a bit too lighthearted for the subject matter?
I think there's a balance, like there's a difference between goofy and lighthearted. And I think regardless of how serious it is, there's still a level of professionalism we expect from our experts, which was the problem I had with him. I just think he went into goofy land. Lighthearted is fine if it's, 2 inches of snow. That's absolutely appropriate. But just the phrasing he was using was not professional.
I feel like he should have addressed, like, because it's snow, there's still there's still some danger for snow, especially on roads. I felt like he could have still been lighthearted, but like, he should have been gotten pointing across that, hey, this can happen, just so let's be careful, it's not that big of a deal, but let's use some caution out there. But he didn't. So he's just like, snow.
Yeah, or even finding a happy medium of getting, because I don't think that there's anything bad about throwing a little joke in here or there, but I think when the entire thing is just jokes, one, your jokes don't land as well because they're like, wait, what are you saying? But two, just the fact that you have to be able to get the information across, especially when it is, it could be something that is more serious. Some people may be terrified of a quarter of an inch of snow or whatever. So, I find a happy balance of having, okay, a joke here and there, but also this is coming and, be prepared, because I feel like that's part of what the weatherman's people's job is to prepare us for the stuff that is coming.
And so, Alina, is that what you think you had in mind when you talked about lightheartedness versus goofiness? Which of the two overall would you say that you preferred? The second?
Mm-hmm.
Why?
Yeah.
Well, because the news is all about being informative, and she was informative. And to be informative, you have to be clear, concise, straight to the point. This is happening. Get ready.
Okay.
This is where what I said earlier comes in. If I wanted to enjoy it, if I wanted to have fun with it, I would remember the first one and show it to my friends that day. Did you guys see the weather this morning? Did you see that guy? But the first one, I'm going to remember it and be like, okay, I need to watch out for this. I got more out of the second one, but I enjoyed the first one more, if that makes sense.
Okay. Which would you say, I guess which of those two experiences would you value higher as a viewer?
Since it's the news and since it's weather, probably the second one. You want the weather to be informative. You don't want it to be, like everyone's saying, goofy and entertaining necessarily.
Okay.
I think also with the first one, I just kept thinking, I was like, move on, we get it. We see the chart, you don't have to read the whole thing to us, we see the lines, go on. And she was very effective. She went over the 80-degree thing, she was like, 80 degrees the week, poof. And I was like, okay. But I think she knew what was important. Flooding's important. This week it's 80 degrees, but flooding. And he wasn't very good on that, so I would definitely prefer her method.
Okay. Is there anybody, so I guess just to poll it, everybody in favor of the first one? Unanimous enough. Okay, we can go ahead and go on to the next one.
Good Thursday morning, Oklahoma. Thanks for joining KOCO Online. I'm Abigail Ogle. And I'm Ariel Reshef. We want to get you caught up on the 5 things you need to know today. A 4-year-old girl nearly hit by gunfire at a gas station in northwest Oklahoma City. It happened around 7 o'clock last night near Hefner and Western. A clerk refused to serve a man who looked drunk. Police say that man pulled out a gun, pointed it at the drive-through window, and pulled the trigger. That little girl is expected to be okay. First on 5, police say a serial rapist is off the streets this morning. R.J. Thompson is in jail after authorities busted him in Seminole County, but investigators think he may have more victims in these counties and possibly others. Authorities tracked Thompson's cell phone. It led them to Kanawha, where they believe he may have been stalking another woman. Happening today, the state prison director will give an update today on the status of executions here in Oklahoma. Of course, a hot button issue, especially lately. He's also expected to explain why the state prison system is over capacity. Right now, 3 executions in our state are on hold. And hey, all of this sniffling and sneezing this week is from tree pollen. If you were watching KOCO 5 News in the morning, you heard me sneeze in the middle of Brad's forecast. I apologize for that, Brad Souter. So if you've been suffering, now you know. Look at that. The trees way up to very high. The Oklahoma Allergy and Asthma Clinic issued a very high alert for that tree pollen. It's the reason my eyes are watering and the sniffling's happening up here at the desk. There are 3 winning Powerball jackpot tickets. Here are the winning numbers. Right here, the winning tickets were sold in North Carolina, North Texas, and Puerto Rico for an estimated $500 million jackpot. Sure would have been nice, but guess what? There's still 2 people out there in Oklahoma, and we want to be friends with you with tickets that are actually worth $10,000 still. So don't throw away those tickets. You want to check your Powerball tickets. Yes, check those tickets right now. We want to thank you so much for stopping by. Make sure you join us weekday mornings, 4:30 a.m. until 7. Make it a great Thursday.
I feel like it was just rushed, everything was going fast, and I couldn't keep up with a lot of it.
Okay.
Also felt like it was like bad money. Like that was it. Like there was nothing good. Like I don't know. And I'm a person that like I don't value money like that. Like that's just to me like that's so materialistic. So they just like I felt like they try to make all the bad things positive with money, and it's just like I feel like that's such an American thing to do.
Just make you lose your jackpot ticket.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's bad too.
There's just like no transition. Like they just went from a story about a serial rapist and executions to just joking about allergies. Like they just went from that to that. Like that other 2 stuff. Like that didn't happen.
Yeah. They had 3 very serious topics that they were covering that they kind of blew over like it was nothing when it really isn't nothing. Like those were 3 very big things. And granted, part of the reason I don't like watching the news is because they always have bad things. I feel like they never touch on anything good happening in the world. So it's a little frustrating, but you know, they have those 3 things, and then it was just like, I almost felt like they were making a joke out of 3 very serious topics that they were trying to talk about, especially by the fact that they ended it with the 2 happier things. I mean, I would get like if you maybe like shuffled them in and did like every other one, maybe it wouldn't be as like, here's a serious thing, here's a serious thing, here's the thing. Oh yeah, by the way, none of that matters and here's a joke. Like, I don't know, that's just kind of how I felt about it, but.
It was an online news clip, right? Like they made it for their website. It wasn't like a broadcast thing. I thought they said somewhere that it was an online.
No, I think it was pulled from TV.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's a good chance it was both.
In any case, like, I mean, they have to get it across in a certain amount of time. So I understand why they had to kind of go bang, 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 just run right through them. And they have to, I mean, like, they report on the news, and maybe that day they just didn't have anything newsworthy that was happy and exciting, other than the Powerball and joking about allergies. So they have to make that transition, and I understand that it's probably going to be kind of awkward to try to figure that out every time. So I'm not as, it wasn't as jarring of a thing, because you kind of have to expect it. You have to expect, like, yeah, they're going to go over the bad stuff, and then they're going to have to move on at some point. So I think it's better that they just go ahead and do it than try to, transition into it awkwardly.
So I liked it. I thought it was nice that they had like 5 specific things that they picked, and they started out with the 3 most important ones. I saw it as they were giving us a summary of what to expect later on the news. Like this was, like they'll be delving more in depth later, because obviously if you're gonna have a kid injured in a car, you'd say more about it than that. So in my head, I assumed that this was just like, here's what's going on today. You can look into it further yourself, or keep watching our newscast. And I didn't think, just because of the nature of how news was, I wasn't too bothered by the joking in the allergy one. I thought it's okay to like apologize to your coworker for sneezing during his newscast. That's perfectly fine. Maybe not tell us that your nose is dripping. That was a little too much information. And maybe a little too much on the I want your money Powerball thing. But everything else, I thought they were really clear in what they were saying. Their tone of voice was serious, but not too serious,
Did it feel to you like they comprehended, or at least understood, like, what it was that they were reporting?
Yeah, I got a good comprehensive list of what the important news was for the day. And if I were in a hurry, I would appreciate something like that. So I feel informed without needing all the details.
Okay. What about anyone else? What did you feel that they understood what they were reporting to you?
Yeah. It's gonna sound stupid, but the most annoying part for me was that chart. I was like, okay, weeds, trees, and logo. No clue what's under that logo. And it was bothering me. I did not hear a word they say because I was just trying to figure out what allergy. Well, it was a different color than that was the weird thing. It was a different color than the other ones, and it just was covered. So that's not the reporter's fault, but it's the news channel's fault to know the size of their screen.
Okay.
Which they do a lot. It's like logo over the most important word in this, news thing. I'm like, okay, well.
Okay. So how would you, or what did you feel were the strongest visual elements of this one?
Not that chart.
I feel like the first clip when they showed him like shooting that video, and like that was really just like crazy and emotional to me, and then it just like went away, and then I felt like we had no closure on like what had happened, and like I still don't feel like I do. And then like moving on from that, like when they were talking about the serial rapist, they showed like the counties, and I'm from Oklahoma, so I know this is like the Oklahoma City news, but I'm from Tulsa, and so like I saw Tulsa County, and so that was kind of like, oh, like this is like a bigger deal. So like the charts and stuff that they used were effective, but that video was like very like I don't know, it just like struck a place, like I don't know, it just really hit me.
Okay. All right, then I think we can go on to the next video, the next and final one. We'll get it again.
Thanks for joining us on KOCO.com and on the KOCO app. I'm Ariel Reshep.
And I'm Steve Otari. We want to get you caught up now on the 5 things you need to know today. Breaking this morning, Dale City fire crews responding to an RV fire. This is a photo from the scene. We're told there are propane tanks inside that RV. Right now, no reports of any injuries.
And breaking overnight, a deadly accident north of Chickasha on Highway 81 in Grady County. Troopers have been at the scene since 3:30 this morning. OHP officials say a car failed to yield and pulled in front of a tanker truck. 2 men inside that car died. Paramedics rushed 2 others to the hospital. The truck driver was not hurt.
Happening today, a war of words at the state capitol, all over a plan to help Muslims get involved in Oklahoma government. There's been major backlash to this idea online. There are plans to hold rallies both for and against Muslim Day today.
See what you think about this. Next week, students in Mustang will have the option to learn about abstinence in the classroom. It'll happen during a lesson in the sciences, while the ACLU says this just goes too far.
We need to be empowering our students with facts and with information, and not with messages that are grounded in religious morality.
Mustang school leaders say a trained volunteer is conducting the lesson, and it will not include religious teachings.
A wedding video popular on social media made by someone from right here in Oklahoma. Brian Scott and Whitney Kay were getting married in Idaho. Whitney has a 3-year-old daughter from a previous relationship. At the ceremony, Brian bent down so he could make heartfelt promises to little Brielle. The wedding film was made by a photographer in Tulsa.
If you have not seen that video, highly recommended. Click over to another window and watch it this morning. It's so beautiful. Such a nice tribute that father-to-be gave to his stepdaughter. So thanks for stopping by KOCO Online. Join us weekday mornings, 4:30 to 7.
Have a great weekend, Oklahoma.
General feelings about what was being recorded.
A very Oklahoma broadcast. You know, 2 of the big news pieces were like this Muslim deal, and people are either rallying for it or rallying against it. And then the next one is abstinence only teaching for sex ed. So
I thought the way that they portrayed the information was a lot clearer than the last one where they just kind of rushed through it. This one, they like took time on each story, and I really appreciated that.
I feel like I appreciated it more because at the beginning they were like, these are the 5 things you need to know. Like, it was like, okay, we're gonna give you 5 things, and like it's gonna be like, I felt like I was expecting it to be quick, and the last one I felt like it was gonna be like a more of a like a news story, like a actual story, and then it was more like the 5 things you need to know kind of thing. So I feel like their intro like at least made it, like I still felt like it was rushed, but I feel like it was expected to be rushed.
Okay. So Madison, you said you enjoyed how they seemed like they kind of spent more time. They at least didn't seem rushed through it. How would you say that differs from the way that the first meteorologist certainly took his time?
Well, the 2 people, they just were more professional about it than the first one was, is probably the main difference that I would.
Okay. And Sydney, what do you, I guess same question, what do you think?
About like their way that they did it versus the first group.
Yeah.
I feel like, I honestly don't feel like it had anything to do with them. I felt like it had to do with the content. Like the first one we heard about like a little girl being shot in a rape, and then like the second one we heard about a fire and no one was injured. And like, so I think the content had a lot to do with it. Like I feel like maybe they were more professional, but maybe I just noticed it because the content was like not as like heart-wrenching, you know?
I think the one we just watched with the guy and girl, I think they seemed a little less like they knew what they were saying, just because I noticed, especially the last part, they were looking down in order to know, and then they would look up at the camera. And whereas the 2 women always were looking right at the camera, they knew exactly what they were saying. They would look at each other, and they seemed a lot more comfortable and just a lot more free-flowing with it, but also they were both doing, because they were talking about the video and then the lottery, so yeah.
So just to point out a couple of things. One, it was the same woman in both videos, yes. She just had a different partner. So it's not really a personnel issue, it's the content issue. Also, in the first one, they did say, here's 5 things you need to know, because I remember that. You can just tell in the second one that it was a much less news-heavy day, because the news wasn't as serious, and they were talking about social media, which is, I feel like, more of a filler piece. So I just got the impression that there wasn't as much happening that day.
Okay. Okay. Overall, which pair was preferred?
This may sound kind of funny, but I kind of liked having a man and a woman, because when they switched stories, you were like for sure knowing you were on a different story now. But I couldn't tell like on the previous video, like if it was the same female or a different person. So I kind of like just having that clear, this is someone else speaking right now. I also think the second video did a better job with like the screen kind of like, you know, covering up and saying, all right, next story, you know, kind of like I don't know what to call it, transition slide, something like that, where just we're on the next story now. And I just thought that was just kind of helpful, rather than just like bam, 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 bam. Just very, very clear transitions to the next story.
Okay. Okay, to put it to a poll, I guess. Overall, who would say that they prefer the first pair? Okay, and second? And I presume to be everybody. Okay, interesting. I think that's about it then. Yeah.
We had one non-voter, was there?
Yeah, I don't have a preference. Well, because it was the same person, and I felt since the content was so different, I couldn't, gauge which pair I liked better, because it really just depends on what they're saying, not necessarily. This one, it didn't matter as much how they said it, because it was pretty similar for both.
Okay.
No preference.
Okay, I think that about sums it up. Thank you very much for participating with us and playing our little game of news stuff and station. We will definitely take what you have said and talk it up.
Does anyone have anything to add before we let you go? Just in general? No pressure. It's okay if you don't. Cool.
All right. Excellent.
Feel free to
Thank you
grab
very
some
much.
pizza on your way out if you just haven't got enough.